Hello, readers. Welcome back to my channel. This is me, Pooja, and today's video is going to be about the two books that I have read. And these are two sad books, okay? And I can't get over the pain that these books have caused me. I am making this video very late because last week I was full in tears. I was completely shattered after reading this book. Actually, it started with the first one, and then there was this itch of starting the next one. Reason is, I wanted to read the second book, but then I didn't have this motivation to read that book, and then I thought that I should get the first book. So I'll show it. Actually, I'll show you the book. These are the two books I'm talking about. I mean, these are Khalid Hosseini's two books. I was not finding any motivation to read this particular book, that is The Thousand Splendid Suns. And since I didn't know whether it would be a good chance to read this fat book, so I got the first book of that author, that is The Kite Runner, okay? And just because I was not getting to that motivation to read the first one, so I thought that I would read this one, and then I will get that flow into reading the second one. I was not wrong. I Right now I'm smiling, but the books have caused me pain the last week. So I ended up reading this one first. एंड पहले ही बुक में मेरे को इतना दर्द मिला. I have literally no words. This is a masterpiece. Actually, it is about guilt, it is about betrayal, it is about friendship, it is about brotherhood, it is about companionship. Okay, and it is about, even though you've been the bad guy in someone else's story, but there's always a chance that you can be good. The story starts where Amir and Hassan. It's a story of a childhood actually, and Amir is thinking of Hassan and the incident. Okay, it's like every chapter there is a certain hint about what is there is some curiosity kind of hanging you at the end of the chapter, where it tells you that okay, there has been something in the year 1975, ऐसा कुछ हुआ था उस साल में. And you keep wondering in the first few chapters when you read it कि ऐसा क्या हुआ था 1975 में, जो आमिर हमको बताने की कोशिश कर रहा है. So in the first page, okay, as you read, I think it's a first chapter, I would say, where he mentions that for you 1,000 times over. So that sentence starts from there, and it is the story where Amir is in America right now. Okay, he's in States, and he has no contact with Hassan, and he tells us a story through him. Okay, Amir's story is slightly, I would say, it's like author himself. It's a story of the author a bit because he has lived his life in Afghanistan. Okay, this story is based in Afghanistan, and Hassan and Amir are childhood friends, but there are some secrets which are revealed later into the story. So their childhood is described, and it is really hooking because the way he tells the story, I mean, the way the author has put it across is so beautiful. It's like two children, okay? Amir is Amir Aga. I mean, they are Pashtuns, and Hassan is Hazra Muslim, and he is a servant's son. the servant's son who's working for them, and these two kids, and one is educated, one is not. And Amir tells him the stories under the pomegranate tree, and he doesn't know to read and write. And Amir, who is craving for his father's love, and then, you know, he thinks that he has to win his father's love like anything. And there is this competition of flying kites, and Amir is the one who's flying, and Hassan is the one who is supporting him with that spin. And he is the one, okay, he is the one who is the kite runner. I can't get over the things like Amir goes in search of Hassan, and then later finds that Hassan is dead and he has a son, since Amir does not own one. I mean, he goes in search of his friend, but he comes to know that he is his half brother. And I didn't want to give a spoiler, but I can't hold it any longer, because this is all about the pain, this is all about the grief that I, I cried. I literally cried reading this one. Then I read this A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khalid Hosseini. I was literally delaying to read this particular book because I was not getting any motivation to read this. This is a story of Mariam. Okay, the first sentence in this book. I mean, who would have even thought that would be the first sentence to start? It says, Mariam was 5 years old the first time she heard the word harami. I mean, yeah, I didn't know that is the first line the reader should read while opening the first, I mean, the book of ease. That's why maybe I was not getting, I thought that it would be very bad ahead to give it a try. So for this to read, I got Kite Runner and I started with Kite Runner. And after reading Kite Runner, I thought कि यार इसके books तो बहुत अच्छे हैं. I should read. Why am I delaying reading this one? So I read this, and I read, and I'm happy about it because I completed this. Because few days back I was in a total mess. I was crying every bit. I mean, the whole of me was crying for this particular character, Mariam. Mariam is staying with her mother, Nana, and her father, Zalil. He comes to visit her every Thursday, and he spends some time with her and he goes back. Okay, because he has his three wives and other nine children and Herat, and she stays in Guldaman with her mother. And her mother tells her that the dad who's there, Zalil, is not so good in nature. Mariam is just a child, and she is fascinated by the way Jalil explains her about the city, okay, the Herat city, and she's eager for him to take her there. So one day, in spite her mother warning her, she tells Jalil that he should take her to Herat and to watch the cinema. So there is a stream over there. She crosses the stream and she goes to Herat one night, and she stays there, and she's told that her father is not there in the town. And then she spends the night in front of their place, and the next day when she returns, okay, sees her father is there, and she has been lied to. And She returns to Guldaman and finds her mom dead. She's hanging by the tree, and that's where her life begins. And she's taken back to Herat, and she's married to a 40-year-old man who's a widower and whose name is Rashid. And she's married to him, and she has to go to Kabul. Okay, she marries him and she goes to Kabul. And though she knows that her life is bad, I mean, she hates her father because he couldn't do anything to stop the marriage she didn't want. He was the reason she had come to Herat, and he betrayed her. And she has this grudge, like, against her father, that she thought that he would help her, but he didn't. And in return, he married her off. And she finds a hope in Rashid. Life moves on, and she gets adjusted to her lifestyle. There's one more character, that is Leila. Okay, and Mariam has seen Leila born in her neighborhood, and then she has grown, and she is like a neighborhood child who's there in front of her eyes. And that is her lover, I would say. That is her best friend Tariq, okay, who is imputed. I mean, he doesn't have one leg. And they are sort of like lovers, Leila and Tariq. And there is this war which is happening, and in between of war, people are leaving Kabul, and they are going. And after that, Tariq also leaves her and goes, and she is with her parents, and she cannot travel with Tariq, and she knows that he's never gonna return. They were supposed to, I mean, her family and they were supposed to leave Kabul, but at the same time, I mean, in the war, her house is destroyed, her parents are killed, and she's the only one who's alive. Same time, okay, Mariam's life, I mean, her husband Rashid gets this girl Leila into their house, okay, and though she's 14, I think 13 or something like that. No, 15, I guess 15. Rashid being 60. Rashid marries Leila. They should be actually enemies. They are enemies in the beginning because they are sharing their husbands. Since Mariam is not able to give child to Rashid, and at the same time, Leila is also pregnant with Tariq's daughter. She agrees to marry, and then it is the story of survival, I would say. These two women, though they have to be enemies, they become friend. And in the future, when Rashid, he knows that the child Leila has is not his, so they have one more child, that is Zalmai. Yeah, Zalmai, that is there. And then one day Tariq returns, okay, and she comes to know that he's not dead. Okay, she comes to know that he's not dead, and she had his daughter. She tells him everything, but Zalmai tells Rashid that Tariq had come. Mariam and Leila is beaten up by Rashid. Mariam ends up killing Rashid, and Rashid is murdered by Mariam. They shove him in the tool shed. Before that, they both try to run away. I mean, Mariam, Leila, okay, with their daughter, try to run away, but they are stuck, and they are ended up in the police station. And Rashid gets them home. He beats them. Leila has to go away with Tariq, and Leila has planned it all, that she has to, Mariam, their daughter, the son, and Tariq, they will go to Pakistan. But then things happen that Mariam stays back. She tells Leila that she has to go with Tariq, with their daughter and son. So she leaves, and Mariam stays there. and Mariam is taken by the police officers, and she's told to kneel down, and they shot her down. And later, when Leila, okay, goes to Pakistan, and then they hear about things like what is happening in Kabul. They are in Pakistan, and then their life goes ahead, but then she wants to return to Kabul when the things have, when the things are good. So she goes to Herat, and she goes to the place Mariam has told her about her childhood. Okay, and she visits Mariam's place, and I was crying at that scene when she goes and checks Mariam's place, even though that she's not alive, and she's handed over a box. Leila is handed over a box, and she finds this letter which was written by Zalil to Mariam. And I was so much in tears when she started reading this letter, and I was like, that particular letter never reached Mariam. Her father had returned that letter for Mariam, but Mariam was never able to read that letter. And Leila got the chance to read that letter. That is the saddest part of that book. एक और book है उस author का, that is I think And the Mountains Echoed, and I want to get that also, and I want to completely finish his books. मैं नहीं बोल सकती कि completely finish the books because these books have finished me. These books of Khalid Husseini, they are become very dear to me, and even though they are going to lie in my shelf, I'm always gonna remember the stories there. So, especially this book, Mariam. I wish I could go and hug Mariam, but I couldn't do that. So, I was hugging this book while I was reading this, and after I finished, I didn't leave it. So, this book, I don't know, someone has to tell me how to get over these two books. This is the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I would like you all to comment down as to which next sad book I should read, or which book you all want me to read and give the review of or the story of it. So you all can comment down. So I'll say bye now. Until then, you keep reading, and see you in my next video.